the instrumental that plays.
Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! It's talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, oh, oh. Dylan runs the show with Pete and Calibro. Nick T and Treasure too. They lay it all out for you. Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey! We're talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey! It's talking Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hello, everyone from the farms of Delaware. This is the Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. I hope you guys have had a wonderful, wonderful start to your week. I am so excited to get to business with all of you. It's been a little bit since we've been live on a Wednesday night. I took last week off. Got married over the weekend, so I did some things, and here we are, ready to get back into it during the Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. We've got plenty of great segments to come. I am going to be joined by Nick T and Dak, two dear friends of mine. We're going to bring them on in a little bit. We're going to do a pulse of the community. By the way, plenty of comments cooking in the crock pot, if you will, as on Friday, I released my official rankings of every Yu-Gi-Oh! Series from worst to best, a video that has been requested really since I was making Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos back in the Arc 5 days. So we have been working on that video, marinating that video for a very long time, and that video is out as of 5 days ago. So please consider checking it out if you have not already. But obviously, with a video like that, it's certainly going to get some people riled up. So you definitely want to stay tuned for the pulse of the community. And then we also, it's not just going to be me revealing my best Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Dak and Nick T are going to be giving you their top 5 best Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. Now, Dak has watched all 8. Nick T has only watched 5. So it actually perfectly works for a top 5 that Nick T is able to participate in this. The 3 shows he has not watched, in case you're interested, it's kind of a weird mix. He has not seen Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. He has not seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. He has not seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. So he's ranking DM, GX, Vrains, 7s, and Go Rush. So we are going to take a look at their lists a little later on as well, and you certainly are not going to want to not going to want to miss that. But before we get into it, and by the way, it's perfect. We've lost power twice in the last hour. It's pouring rain. You can look it up in central Delaware right now. The rain clouds are over. They're fierce. We've lost power again twice in the last hour. And the monologue is fitting for the melancholy weather outside because it's a little bit of a ranty, annoyed monologue. And I am going to talk about why 2025 has been the worst year ever for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans. And let me say this. I know it's very easy to make this claim and for people to be like, well, yeah, that's obvious, right? There's no Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime existing. But it goes way beyond that. Okay? It's not just about how there's no weekly Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, I've got a bunch of things I want to talk about. No weekly Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't even on this list. That's obviously a huge thing. It's one of the biggest elements of why 2025 has just been such a brutal year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans. But there are so many disappointing, underwhelming things that have happened this year. It's unbelievable. I've been making content for over 10 years now in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime space, and there have been some rough points for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. The end of Arc 5, there were people that I was very close with during Arc 5 that I have not spoken to since the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Okay? Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains getting cut 6 months early, and then the announcement coming that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to switch to Rush. It's going to switch to a totally different look, a totally different style, a totally different game. Just like the Arc 5 ending was a mass exodus for a lot of fans, that was also a mass exodus for a lot of fans. And then you had the COVID years where we lost 10 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. Like, there have been some bad moments for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans, but 2025 has been bad moment on top of bad moment on top of bad moment. And it starts with Go Rush. One of the first episodes we get in the year 2025 for Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, in what was a pretty underwhelming final arc, was the Gakugen episode. And I believe that episode just set the tone for the kind of crappy year us Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans were going to have. That, to me, is one of the worst episodes in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I cannot tell you how much I hate that episode. And that set the tone. And you know what? The Go Rush ending episode was really good, but there were certainly things in that Go Rush final arc that I thought were a little underwhelming. Not getting Otis's identity, I think, was a big, big, big missed opportunity. I know there's people that hate the final season of Go Rush, especially that final arc. I don't hate it, but I didn't think it was the best. And so I think that the content we got for Go Rush wasn't incredible. I don't think it was that bad, but it wasn't incredible. I think Go Rush had a fine ending, all things considered. But that was probably as good as it gets for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans. In my opinion, that was as good as it gets. Because there was another big thing that got announced at Jump Festa, and I'm not talking about the lack of a weekly Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime for the first time ever. I'm talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX remaster. And when this gets announced, Twitter goes nuts. And I'm not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creators. I'm not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! People. I'm talking about general anime fans. Woo! When this news broke on Twitter, the amount of people and the amount of tweets that I would see on a regular basis leading up to the release of the GX disaster. GX is getting another season. My life has been complete. Unbelievable stuff. And this is what we get. And I waited a little bit. I didn't want to come out roasting the remaster. I wanted to wait, and I wanted to see if maybe they were going to do it differently than what the DM remaster was. It's not. And my preferred way to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime is not a crop job that cuts out the top of monsters or characters' heads. I just don't think that's incredible. Here's another great shot. And this is all from the first episode, by the way. I think we're 20 episodes through. I'm not even going to waste my time or your time going through all of these episodes and pulling more awful cropped images from this remaster. But this was the tweet. 1 million views, and please, if you can stomach it, go to the replies, go to the quote tweets. The amount of people, when this was announced, that were just overjoyed, over the moon. And I don't even blame people for doing that because, again, I get it. You want to be excited about something. But the amount of misinformation that came out because of this was just unbelievable. And keep in mind, if you don't want to hear it from me, how about you hear it from Takahiro Kagami, one of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Animators, I would say, ever. This is what he said in 2020 about the DM remaster. But as expected, I wish they would broadcast it in its original form without tampering it. When Yu-Gi-Oh! DM was broadcasted as a digital remaster, the rebroadcast itself was appreciated, but they cropped the top and bottom of the 4x3 standard size, so it felt like the layout became narrower. Then there were also some cuts where the image looked rough. That is one of, if one of the best animators that worked on your product is speaking out against the remaster that you did for DM, maybe we should think about how to properly honor Yu-Gi-Oh! GX's 20th anniversary, because that's what this was all about. It was honoring Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. How about you do a 20-minute OVA? How about you do a GX movie? How about you bring the GX manga to life? And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited to see if it was really going to be as bad as the DM remaster. It is. Simple as that. And it's unfortunate. Something else that was announced at Jump Festa was the Chronicles. And the Chronicles, much like the end of Go Rush, hasn't been I wouldn't say it's been awful, but I do believe it's been too infrequent and too short. And I think most people would agree with that. I know there are a select few people that are very, very content, think the Chronicles is awesome, think it's perfect where it is. I just think this is a product that needs to be more frequent or longer. And the Sky Striker portion, which, by the way, that is 50% of the Chronicles at the time of recording this, was not even worth watching. So 50% of this anime has not even been worth watching. But that said, I think they're on the right track. Still too infrequent to get really excited about. But the Chronicles has been okay. I still think a little bit underwhelming because of just how short the episodes have been. And then I want to turn to the card game side. And again, the list goes on and on and on about 2025 and why it's been just miserable for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans. Remember the Animation Chronicles set? It used to be the Collector's Pack, I believe. And I believe the Collector's Pack ran before the Animation Chronicles. But for those that don't remember what this set was, and this is a thumbnail that, I made a couple years ago, predicting what was going to come out in 2024. What this set was is it gave the opportunity to anime exclusive decks to come out, to come to the game so that we could play them in Master Duel, so that we could play them in Duel Links, so that we could play them at locals. Animation Chronicles, a set that's ran for at least 10 years if you can include the Collector's Pack, always came out in May or June. It is August, and this seems to be a set that Konami has completely done away with. A set, probably the set, that gave the most love to anime cards and anime support. A set that has existed in some capacity for over a decade. Gone without a trace, without an announcement. And another body blow that Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime enthusiasts have to take. And maybe we get some solace in Duel Links, right? I mean, Duel Links was doing something cool with the Vrains crossover tease, right? And that Ghost Girl event ends with her saying to Akira, hey, I need you to find more information on this. And him saying, yeah, I'm going to look into it. Akira's Eyes and Unlock event gets announced a couple of months ago. And the real hope was that that event would be continued or at least mentioned. I mean, it's a big event. The last time we saw Akira in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains story, he was commenting on how the Vrains cast, including his little sister, saw Yugi, Yuga, Yusei, and I can go on. All the characters from the other shows. This event comes. Anime fans like myself get pumped. Nothing comes out of it. No mention of that storyline. Gone without a trace. And if you need to be reminded how long ago that was, that Emma Besso storyline was over 20 months ago. November 2023. It's done. It's done. They teased something that could have been absolutely incredible. Even if it was just a Duel Links event. Seeing the protagonists interact in Duel Links would have been amazing. And they do nothing with it. They do nothing with it. So it doesn't matter whether it's the card game. It doesn't matter whether it's Duel Links. It doesn't matter whether it's the GX remaster. It doesn't matter if it's the Chronicles anime. And it sure doesn't matter if it's the weekly Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that's been nixed for the first time in 25 years. This has been the most brutal year across the board for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans when it comes, of course, to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Spectrum. But there is hope. And you know me. Nick T's been friends with me for over 2 decades. I am an optimist. I think he's called me a pragmatic optimist. I'm an optimist by heart. And there's still hope for this year to be salvaged. Jump Festa is in 127 days. And in 127 days, in just over 4 months, the biggest anime announcement panel will take place. And a new show could be announced. And it could potentially salvage what has been the worst year, bar none, for Yu-Gi-Oh anime fans. I'm going to bring in Dak and Nick T here because maybe I'm being a little dramatic. And if I am, I know these two will tell me. Dak, I'm going to start with you. You're someone who your longevity has kind of matched mine in terms of being a part of the Yu-Gi-Oh community. You were around live when Arc 5 was ending, when Vrains was ending, when 7th was announced. I would love to know your thoughts on my thoughts that this has just been a when you really contextualize it, a brutal, horrible year for Yu-Gi-Oh anime fans.
It's been a rough one. Yeah, it's definitely been a rough one for fans. On that wonderful sour intro. Hello. Hello everybody. But no, it's been a rough one for sure. You know, definitely it's been a mixed year, not the best Yu-Gi-Oh anime kind of fan year. Obviously, like you said, you know, kind of a Gakugen was a rough way to kind of kick off.
Dude, it is unbelievable that was the third episode into the year, Gakugen.
Yeah.
Set the tone.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Now I will say the silver lining to that is when the dub gets there, we'll have a Barrett versus Barrett moment. So I mean, there is that. Like, I mean, I can't say I'm not looking forward to that at the very least. So, you know, at least we do have that kind of little silver lining. But yeah, episode itself was rough. You know, exactly the kind of end of Go Rush in general was definitely a rough one. I mean, like the ending itself was fine, but kind of that, you know, and I mean, honestly, I'd say it's probably a, you know, pretty solid ending for what it was in terms of the show. But if that is kind of the end of Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, that is kind of a little more sour, a little more, you know, kind of a downer note kind of to end on. I mean, I do think the final arc had its kind of ups and downs, but as a whole, definitely not a bad arc. But you know, definitely could have been better. You know, especially if they were going out, you know, on the anime for good. You know, with the GX thing, I know we've kind of talked and joked about this one to death. You know, definitely it is a disappointing remaster. There's so many other ways they could have handled it, but they kind of went with the cheap corporate route, which is kind of what I expected, unfortunately. So, you know, they just decided, hey, let's just, you know, make it big and make it fit, and whatever gets cut gets cut. You know, we don't need heads, we don't need feet, we don't need life points. You know, any of those, we can just people listen, you know, and be fine. They could have black barred it, you know, and made everything fit, you know, and then kind of shrunk it down a little bit, you know, and made it work. They could have, you know, just reanimated it, like you said, could have done OVAs or something like that. So many different things, a manga and adaptation, you know, short little series like that. Could have done the movie that they, you know, kind of turned roughly into season 2, or at least kind of part of it, you know, with the DM versus GX. I know people would have gone wild for something like that.
There were much better ways to honor that franchise. Yeah,
100%. You know, definitely a lot of things that they could have done. Chronicles, I mean, we've talked about that to death.
Yeah.
You know, too. I mean, there's not much more we can say about it. You know, it's cool that it's getting. I mean, arguably, it is getting better each episode. You know, I will give it that. Like, you know, obviously it's not the length we want, it's not the release we want, but at least they are getting better episode over episode. So that does give me hope for the future a little bit. But in the meantime, it's not really a lot to hold us over on. So that is kind of just another dour point, you know, I think for this year. And of course, you know, the Animation Chronicles kind of pack disappearing. That is definitely a big blow, and kind of a, you know, big bummer, you know, on that side of things, if they are truly done with it. Now, I will say, I mean, there definitely are still cards that need to be printed, and cards that I do think that they will print from those different, you know, sources. You know, the different shows have, you know, just tons of different cards that aren't out, the mangas, you know, and things like that. So I do think there are still ways they're going to incorporate and print those cards, but it was really cool having a pack focused on, hey, here's anime cards. You know, here's ones that have never been printed. Here's ones that are just straight up references or new support. Like, that was a big, cool thing. And just to kind of cut it off does hurt, you know, in terms of like the hope for anime side, because I feel like that pack and the anime go really hand in hand with kind of selling each other there as well. And then of course with Duel Links, yeah, I mean, the lack of attention, you know, on the event itself really is unfortunate. I do think that is more just of it being a live service game at its core, kind of more than anything, and that it's a trickle feed. You know, it's something where I don't think they're just done with the plot line. I mean, even with, you know, the America event, they kind of slightly still reference that somebody else is in control, somebody's doing something, you know. So I mean there are still those hints and those elements, and I do think they are still building to something. But I mean, it's like I said, it's it's a live server style game, so it's going to be trickle fed, for a long time,
Yeah.
across everything, and then finally we'll get an event maybe
Hopefully. I mean,
for
yeah,
it.
I don't know the level of
But
confidence you have, but I mean, who the hell knows, you know?
it's I would say I'm over 50. I don't know if I'd put myself at like a solid 75. I'd say probably like 65 to 70% that it's still happening. I don't think that it's done. And it's mostly because of things like Merrick getting mentioned with that. It really just kind of comes down to what they start to do with some of these other shows, and if we continue to see with those events some of those different little references, those little nods to what's going on. We need to figure this out. Then I could see it happening a bit more. It'd also
Yeah.
be nice to know when the next kind of Vrains event is, because that would make it a little more
Yeah, I know.
inclined if something is going to happen. But I mean, we've got to see, because it seems like right now with Vrains they kind of want to potentially shift and focus on bringing the Ignis back, which could tie into it. It'd be kind of a roundabout way to do it, but we'll see. Definitely been rough, but I do see the potential still in a lot of these areas with Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, especially the anime side, where it could still go and still
Yeah.
come bounce back. I mean,
Yeah.
every series I think has their lows, their down moments. The thing is, I mean, we're not. Digimon comes to mind, because I don't fully keep up with that side of things, but I mean, they had, 15-ish years, I feel like, between, anything,
Yeah.
roughly. So, I mean, there is still, like, we're still getting things, but it definitely would be nice if we can start to get that upward trajectory a little bit more.
Right. Well,
for
no,
sure.
it's a really good point. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the two statements here can be true. It's been a brutal year in 2025, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be the end of the chapter when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. And hopefully it's not, but it as the days turn to months, turn to hopefully not years, but this Jump Festa, I cannot overstate its importance for, I think, how a lot of people in this community are going to be able to stomach what is going to happen beyond Jump Festa. It is a massive event. I have never lived through a Jump Festa that's going to have as many stomachs in throats and hearts in pounding in chests. This is going to be a crazy, crazy Jump Festa. But Nick T, I want to throw it to you. I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, you're not as attached maybe on the Duel Links or the card side, but you've been watching weekly since 2018, 2017. So you've been watching weekly for the better part of a decade. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I want to start with, I didn't realize, I knew obviously the subject matter, you were for the monologue. I didn't realize how much ammo you were coming in with. I mean, man,
I put work into these monologues, man.
You do. It's just I didn't really consider how much there actually was, or how little, I guess, there actually was.
Right.
It doesn't feel great. With Dak pointing out, Digimon as an example, and I'm sure there's dozens of other examples of an otherwise long running show maybe getting taking a turn and then having some time off, whatever it may be. But I think after this long, right, 25 years of weekly anime, card games, constantly being updated and new packs coming out, a legacy pack, coming out every year with, cards from the anime and whatnot. And then a game to boot, right? That is that has continuing plot lines that, intertwine and captivate the audience. The fact that those things are just kind of being either dropped or not being paid attention to doesn't feel good. And I think for all those things to exist and then drop off, I think the extremely loyal fan base deserves more than that. Even regardless of what I think is going to happen, I'm fairly certain that we will get a Yu-Gi-Oh 9, whether it is weekly or seasonal or whatever it may be. I still think some kind of explanation, some kind of announcement of something on all of these points that we've pointed out is kind of owed to the audience. Because right now it's just feeling like Konami's trying to make the most money with the least effort. And not saying Chronicles is low effort, because it's not, but it is so short format that it is less resources. And they're still trying to get people to watch. they're dropping plot lines or like, not paying attention to certain plot lines in Duel Links, but people are still playing it. So it's like all of these things seem like they still want to make the money. The GX remaster, crop job and AI upscale, and then people will watch. Low effort, maximize profits.
Not even
It's just
releasing
like-
not even releasing that one outside of Japan, which again we've talked about the isolation to the
Exactly,
international.
and I mean that's a
audience.
whole other can of worms. It's just it doesn't bode well for a loyal fan base. So it's frustrating to say the least. Even with me not being particularly tied to the card game, to Duel Links, whatever, it is frustrating as someone who's watched weekly Yu-Gi-Oh for the better part of a decade to have zero explanation.
There was a just to kind of add on, there was I'm gonna try to find the image. There was a board that was just at like either a convention or was at just some like game shop in Tokyo, Japan, where it was like, put a green sticker next to this company if you have a favorable opinion of them, put a red sticker if you have an unfavorable opinion. And it was a bunch of Japanese companies, and Konami was one, and a sea of red, man. I mean, it was just deep red. But again, I don't think perception of them have ever been very positive. And I don't know if it matters, to be. I don't know if it matters.
It doesn't. Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing. For Konami, for a company the size of Konami, it doesn't. Because they're going to be putting out all of these IPs and people are going to buy them, even if they're not viewed extremely favorably. They've put out such legacy titles
Thank
and,
you
in terms
for
of gaming,
the
in terms of
dono.
anime, that it's like, who gives a crap?
Yeah,
it
no,
doesn't
really.
matter to them. They're still printing money. So, it doesn't matter if they're viewed favorably or not. And it is kind of vindicating in a way. Like, obviously, I think Japanese audiences probably do have even more of a right than we do to be angry, but we do have more to be angry about, considering not only are not also not getting the same things they're not getting, we're also not getting things like a place to watch Zexel or
Right.
How
How about the concert? The concert they just did, where
The concert,
yeah, I didn't
exactly.
even mention that, but that's another thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like even in like current running content, we as a Western audience are like locked out of.
Right.
So it's vindicating to know that it's vindicating to know that the Japanese audiences feel similarly in terms of their outlook on Konami as a company.
I mean, it's always, vindicated is a good word. It's always good, like, if you have a particular opinion on a company or whatever, and then, like, other people validate that opinion, it makes you feel
Exactly.
like, okay, I'm not crazy here. Like, my feelings are valid towards this person or towards this entity or company.
Right. And I think my point being that, like, maybe we're a little bitter because of the things I listed.
Sure.
But maybe we're not biased, because obviously Japanese audiences feel similarly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Dak, was there anything you wanted to kind of add there to what Nick T had to say?
I mean, that's definitely the great word for it. Yeah, vindicated, I think, is like kind of the perfect way to put it. And I mean, exactly. We kind of concert kind of slipped our mind, because that's just one of those things, where we just don't have we just didn't even have the opportunity. Like, they cut everything they could to just kind of prevent us from doing it. And
Yeah.
I mean, even going as far as like, at least with like the shows, we can still kind of check out the YouTube channel or like VPN through, but like with the show, that they even block that. Like,
Yeah.
people who are willing to pay, they're like, no, sorry, you can't pay for these
Yeah.
things and still enjoy the music. Like,
Well, that
hope
stuff.
you can see a clip somewhere. Like,
Yeah, it
crazy.
It borders on a word that I'm not going to use, but that's just how it feels. That's just how it feels. Like the isolation and the intentional isolation it's not a good feeling. And it's happened so many times with this IP that you can't help but feel like there's a deeper reasoning for it. And I mean, it sucks.
On the concert front, it does feel particularly interesting, because you would think as a company, Konami would want to make more money.
Yeah.
Yet, like, why not let Western audiences pay to view it.
I
Like,
would have
they would
Nick
make
T.
money.
Nick T. I would have happily paid $50, and I know plenty of people that at least said they would have happily paid $50. So if you get 10,000 international people to pay $50, that's $500,000 just by making it available to international audiences. You don't even need to do any extra work. That's why it doesn't make sense. Unless there's like some other weird factor involved, and it's
the only
I mean, I think
the only thing I can think of would be record companies or something like that. Maybe there's some sort of licensing with some of the music, and they just said, forget it.
Could be.
We're not going to tell you not to play your song, but I mean, but even that feels like such a stretch.
Well,
but,
Nick T, you're in that industry, Nick T. I mean, you're in that industry. Maybe not international laws, but at least you're familiar with it more than we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to see it as a factor because the record companies would just take a buyout. They would be like, yeah, you can, or not even the record, like publishing companies, record companies would gladly take the money of Konami, who is gladly taking the money of an audience.
Right. Yeah, but if Konami doesn't want to give them the money, that's
a whole other story. But that is a different story. But I think music publishing and record companies, it doesn't feel like it would be a viable factor. It's potentially one. It just doesn't feel completely waterproof.
Yeah, definitely not. I think it's one of those things we'll just never know.
We'll never know.
Never come out and say.
No.
I think we've speculated a little bit, culturally about why that may be, but that's as far as we can go, really.
Right. Because then, No, I don't have anything that I can add to that, but it's frustrating. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just it's frustrating. And I remember Elaine, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know Elaine. She's always around, very, very nice human being, and she messaged me and she was like, "Oh, they're doing like a reshowing of the concert," and I was like, "Oh, maybe that'll be like available." It is not. Same thing, blocking VPN usage and now. So even the rerun, it was like, oh, maybe it was like a live thing where they just didn't want like people live to like view it internationally. And then the rerun, whoever can watch it, but not the case. So again, the whole thing is strange. But all that to say, it's been a brutal freaking year. Card game, anime, the productions we've gotten being underwhelming. It's been brutal. And we just have to hope, and it's a huge knock on wood, that things are going to get better in the years to come. And Nick T, you're optimistic. Nick T, you're optimistic about a Yu-Gi-Oh! 9. How optimistic are you that gets announced this year, particularly at Jump Festa? Or,
fairly optimistic.
Okay.
I'm fairly optimistic.
Okay.
Realistically, I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I'm pretty optimistic about it. I think they've had a good amount of time to, plan. Yeah, even if like. Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine like a reality where it's like we hear nothing and then it's next year that we get news for the following year. It seems like, a whole year has gone by without them saying anything. And, maybe Konami Animation Studios is cutting their teeth right now with the shorts if they decide to go that route, or if they're trying to secure another studio to do the next show or, continue with Bridge. Whatever the case may be, I think all of those details likely were being fleshed out over the course of the year. And I think I'm optimistic about Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 in some form, whether that's weekly,
of course, yeah.
or seasonal, which I think seasonal could mitigate some of the issues we've been seeing. It's less content, yes, but I think we could see a quality jump in terms of storytelling. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Dak, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I am definitely still optimistic that something will come. It's just a matter of when more than anything. I could see something this year, like I said, it's been kind of a whole, a whole year of just kind of I don't want to say a break. Obviously, they're still working on things, but it kind of
Yeah.
give them a year, a good year to kind of decide what they want to do, where they want to do it, how they want to do it. If they do want to build it up through Konami Animation, they can, and get some stuff under their belt, some practice, ready for that, kind of find their style and things like that before jumping into a whole new show. Whether they decide to do seasonal, which I do think could be a higher chance, or like a kind of like a, whether it be a classic, like 24 episode kind of season, or it be something a little bit bigger, kind of a happy medium. I mean, they could easily do something like that. That way they do have more breaks, more time to breathe in between, and then be able to keep the content rolling across everything. Doing more Chronicles, doing that in the off seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see them doing things like that as well. So I do think the potential is there. I do think they are going to announce something, but it's just kind of the waiting that that's
And
the
no, it's
problem.
the
Like,
it's
give
the
us,
waiting,
all
and
you do is
yeah, and the like no. Again, I compare it a lot of times to when you're not. I think about my throat. I mean, I've made this analogy a lot, but like when I was losing my voice after doing a stream like this, and I wouldn't have my voice for the next day, I was like, this is not normal. There's people who talk 20 hours a day and they're totally fine and they don't lose their voice. Like, I knew something was wrong, and I was going to doctors and throat specialists. I was having, men were looking inside of my throat trying to figure out what was going on, and they couldn't. And finally somebody did. Shout out to Dr. McCullough, because, thank God she found it, and she found the polyp. And as soon as that was found, then it's like, okay, now we know what's going on. What do we have to do? Therapy didn't work. Okay, now we got to get throat surgery. But I'll tell you, man, having no idea what was happening was absolutely brutal. And then when you find out what's happening, it's like, okay, beautiful. Here we go. Let's take care of this. So that's why, dude, like the left in the dark part is just the worst part of all of this by far.
Yep.
By far. Nick T, you look like you had something you wanted to say.
No, I'm just in awe of the analogy. I like
Thank
it
you.
quite a bit.
Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you so much. You are what makes the Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything channel. You are what makes the Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Show happen. So thank you. We hope you're enjoying so far. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. The Maestro is going to be kicking us off with his top 5 Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. Very excited for that. Dak, do we have any super chats or donations? We're going to read a few, and then we're going to move on to Nick T and Dak revealing their top 5 best Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows.
Yeah, so I know we got a one on our side here so far. I didn't catch if any came through the link, but I don't have that on my end, so hopefully you have that up.
Yep, I got it.
We have $2 from Dylan R.
Best name there is, man. Dylan, love it. Thank you, Dylan.
Asking, what do you think about Yugioh?
Be honest.
No,
Be nice.
Okay, please. Can I talk?
Brutally honest.
I think that Yugioh served a role. I think he was the protagonist, and I think he was enjoyable to watch because he wasn't like the best duelist, so you never really knew what was going to happen with him. He was a good inventor, obviously the pioneer, well, the co-pioneer with Otis when it came to making rush duels, and he was just a dude. So yeah, shout out to Yugioh, and shout out to Dylan R. By the way, he doesn't spell his name correctly, but that's okay. It's still the best name in the world. So shout out to you, Dylan. Love it. Love the name. Thank you. And love the question. Thank you so much for the kind question. Dark Ember. Yeah, Nick T. What?
I just have to. No. Actually, I can't let the moment pass. I feel like as time has gone on, you've taken more and more away from Yugioh. Yeah. Pete hit it. He can't even have the sole title of Rush Duel Inventor now because sure, without Otis, could he have integrated into the current duel system? No. But he's still the sole inventor. We cannot take that from him.
Okay.
I cannot let you take that from him.
Okay, but who's the one who always made the Pac-Man analogy? And I was roasted for the Pac-Man analogy. And I
was always
you supported me.
You brought it up. Yeah.
Chat didn't. I had people comment on my video saying they left my community because of the Pac-Man stuff.
Well, I think there's probably a lot more about you that they left because
All right.
But to your point, yeah,
All
I
right.
can't let you take that from him. I can't let you take that.
No, I appreciate you sticking up for him. That's awesome, dude. Great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Dylan, thank you for the $2 super chat. Dark Emperor J with the Twitch bits. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Hey, Dill, I know it's been a decade since you fought the Orphan of Kaz, but seeing your skills, I think you can beat it solo, which of course is something I've never done. And I'm willing to make it worth your while. If you can beat him, I've got two prizes, either a $100 gift card or $100 worth of crumble cookies for Jump Festa 2025. Or, which that would buy many cookies, Dak. I think that would buy about
Make it like 7
36. I'd get us 10 whole cookies. No, that's very nice. Or I could buy a Switch 2 copy of Legend ZA for you and Vree. However, if you don't beat him by the end of September, you'll have to buy an Anubis mask. Are you up for the challenge?
Wow.
Ooh. And lucky for you, I haven't fought him on that playthrough that you've done.
Oh, really? That playthrough that I
Yeah,
did
well,
on that playthrough that I did on your account, though, I restarted. I think I'm in new game.
Yep.
So I'd have to go through, right?
I don't remember you doing it.
I thought I got
We'd have to boot it up and see, but
Dag is going to boot it up and see. If I did not start new game, I will do the DLC and I will take you up on that, Dark Emperor. We'll do some Bloodborne streams. I'll take you up on that. So we will have an update for you either tomorrow or Friday. Dak will take a look at that. So that's the contingency. But Dark Emperor J, thank you so much for the donation. Dark Emperor J also donated $2. What was the best wish? What was the best dish at Dill's wedding?
Ooh.
Chilean sea bass for me. I gobbled that
The
up.
entrees were quite good. The
Yeah.
entrees were quite good.
yeah. The chicken was good.
Oh, I had this at the cocktail hour, the mini lobster roll.
Yeah, the appetizers were crazy. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
god.
there were so many good ones.
I remember the appetizers. There were some that I was eating and I just had tears in my eyes.
Yeah, that was the only reason you had tears in your eyes that night.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that was a good one. Well, Dark Emperor J, thank you so much. I think we can do one more before we get to the next segment, and then we'll take a break, of course, between the pulse and finish off. Jarek, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Boys, everyone needs to know, have you seen the Netflix movie K-Pop Demon Hunters? And if so, what's your favorite song from the soundtrack? Mine are Golden, How It's Done, and Soda Pop. I have not, but I have heard of it. I've heard it's like shattered Netflix records as one of the most like viewed things, but I have not watched the movie. I might. I don't have any immediate plans to. But if the movie came into my life some way or another, I probably would. What about you, Nick T?
Yeah, I have not watched it. I've seen a lot of buzz about it and a lot of content regarding it. I just don't think it's my thing. All power to them, and I've heard the songs are great. I just don't think it's my thing.
What is it, an anime?
No, it's like a 3D animated, I guess ish, but like it's a 3D animated movie. It's just the current style of 3D animation.
Is it like Howl's Moving Castle?
That's
2D.
That's a 2D. Yeah.
Wait, so what's 3D?
Think of any.
Think like
You got it.
Oh,
Entangled and-
like Cinderella.
No.
You
No.
just said think of any Disney movie.
Any Disney movie made in like the past 5 years.
The one with Emma Watson. What was that? Beauty and the Beast. Like that one?
No.
No, are there actors or is it animated? I'm not. You guys are giving me like.
It is animated, but it's on a three-dimensional plane. It is not a two-dimensional plane.
Okay, so like Cinderella is a 2-dimensional plane, and like Frozen is a 3-dimensional plane.
Yes.
Okay, and like Wicked is real people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
mostly.
Okay, mostly.
Yeah.
I guess some
mostly,
people are
yeah.
right. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, no, this was. Thank you. This was very. And who are the K-pop Demon Hunters? Are they based on like a K-pop band?
I think they're a fictional one. They're a fictional
Yeah.
K-pop band.
They have nothing to do with Twice.
No, but I do love Twice.
Okay. Why
they've got nothing to do with Blackpink either.
they were compared to Twice. I saw.
Were they actually? I haven't. Seen
I
that.
think I
haven't.
saw some comment.
Twice is on the soundtrack. Wow, I didn't know.
Are
that.
they?
That's
Okay, well
excellent.
there you go. So that's probably what the comment was about how Twice was in the movie, and then I thought maybe the movie was about Twice. Okay,
No, it's not. It's not.
you've seen Twice live, twice.
I have. Yeah, how do you remember that? Yeah, I
Because
saw Twice
why
live
I
twice.
pay attention to my friends.
Oh, you do. I appreciate that.
Okay, I've learned a lot. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and Nick T and Dak,
No one will know.
Nick T and Dak, I will cue you guys in. Ladies and gentlemen, the top 5 Yu-Gi-Oh shows. Dak and the Maestro kicking us off. He is the Maestro. Hey, Maestro.
Let's hear
Hey,
it for
Maestro.
the maestro.
Encore, Maestro! Encore!
Hey, Maestro. He is the Maestro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Maestro and Dak here to give you their top 5 best Yu-Gi-Oh shows in case you need a quick recap on how I ranked mine. I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains at 5th. I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush in 4th. I've got Yu-Gi-Oh! DM in 3rd. I've got Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal in 2nd. And I've got Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds in 1st. And by the way, Nick T is not ranking 5Ds. He is not ranking Arc 5. He is not ranking Zexal. He has not seen either of those 3 shows, so you got to give him a little bit of grace there. Nick T, the Maestro, kick us off with your number 5.
So I want to preface this by saying I have not seen the entirety of the show, so I want to be fair, only judging what I have seen so far. And based on that, you all should know number 5 is GX, because that first season is it's something.
Yeah. That's
it is
that's
something.
that's a fair ranking. Nick T, a show that you have seen in full, number 4.
Number 4, a show that if I was judging this based on more than 5 shows, like if had I watched all of them, I think it would still be a number 4, regardless of how much crap I give it. Vrains. I think Vrains is my number 4.
Okay.
So I think it would still be at that spot. Because I actually really do like Vrains, despite I think I hold it to a standard that that's higher because it's a show I like, and
Nick
so.
T, is Playmaker your least favorite protagonist that you've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh?
That I will say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, 2 things can be true. You can GX for me is 7th, and I love Jaden.
Right.
I love Jaden.
Yeah.
So you can love or dislike the main character, but still enjoy or dislike the show. 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Like even though Playmaker is my least favorite protagonist, that the characters. I mean, there's so many great characters.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Nick T, you've got 3 shows left. Number 3, bronze medal. Yeah. What are we picking?
We are picking Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush.
Okay.
I liked it. I mean, it's a great show. It had its weak moments. That the last arc last season was kind of felt like a rush, and certain things about it I did not like. I mean, the Gakugen, for the 3rd time, we'll bring up that
Dude,
episode today.
Yeah, brutal. Let's just pretend that episode did not happen.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, number 2. Now, you've only got 2 left. Again, I'm reminding people, Nick T has not seen Zexal. He has not seen 5Ds. He has not seen Arc 5. So you've only got 2 picks left. What are you picking at number 2?
This is where it's going to maybe upset people. But I will say, it's got to be, top 2. And again, this is another situation where if I was going on a list of all of them, had I seen, it probably would be top 3 here. And it's DM. It's Duel Monsters.
Wow. Okay. Love it.
I mean,
Love
that's
it.
my childhood. It's my childhood. It is such an excellent, it's such an excellent basis for the entire franchise.
Yeah, you know what? And then, of course, your number one. I don't want to say it for you, but a bold number one. And I love it, dude. I respect bold and unique opinions. I really, really do. This is certainly a unique opinion. I love it. Nick T, number one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say number one is Sevens. I think we as viewers could not have asked for a better reboot, so to speak, of the series. You know, inviting a new audience, and I only call it that because it's a restart. It's a new format. It's reinviting a new audience, or it's inviting rather a new audience, and it's a new animation. So there's so many things that make it sort of a new beginning, new studio, and it just does such a solid job, just as DM did, with being a foundational series. Were there issues with it? Absolutely, but we have a great cast of characters, a great introduction to the Rush format, and really just some peak moments. The Yugioh Luke dynamic is just incredible, and I think even though we were hesitant about it, I really ended up falling in love with it.
Nick T, I love the list. It's very unique. It's bold. It's sexy. I love the list. But I do. So Sevens obviously is not in my top 5. I have it 6th. I mean, I don't have it like I have it.
That's fair.
You know, it's in
Pretty middle of the pack.
Yeah, maybe a little more towards the lower side. My big thing with Sevens is the villain aspect, or lack of villain aspect. That obviously not really an issue for you, Nick T.
It isn't. It is not. I mean,
and that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I think especially because of how the show is set up, we had like, at least initially, it was sort of a I kind of lost my train of thought, actually. I don't know. I think it was almost set up episodic initially, and then it became something bigger than that. And I don't think we needed. I think we had enough. We were working with enough that while a better villain would have elevated the show, I don't think what we got brought it down.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I enjoy villains. I know there's some people that it doesn't really matter to them. And much like how with GX, I think if you enjoy, like really loved that early slice of life stuff, you probably rate GX very, very highly, because seasons 3 and 4, which, to be fair, Nick T, you didn't watch those seasons, and those were the best parts of GX, in my opinion. So that is a little bit more context as well to these top 5 of yours. When it comes to GX, yeah.
Which is why I wanted to preface with, like, I could only possibly go off what I've seen, and
right.
I know, and I again, another show that I make a lot of jokes about, but I know that, you know, later seasons, even like towards the end of this one, the show really does start to pick up the pace. So I would be fairer to it based on watching more of it.
Yep, absolutely. And so yeah, if you like that stuff in early GX, I think you probably rate GX very highly. If you do not care about villains at all, I think you probably rate Sevens very highly, because that core friend group of Sevens is really, really strong. So yeah, I mean, exactly. it right. You say different strokes for different folks. It's really, what do people enjoy in a production? There's people, their preferred anime is slice of life, right? And like, you're not gonna have any world-ending villains most of the time in shows like that, and like, that's okay. That's what some people enjoy. That's what a lot of people enjoy. And so like, it's whatever your preference is. So yeah, with Sevens, definitely see the reason to put it very high on a list if you don't have any, if you don't care about villains, for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, great list. Love it, dude. Dak, my friend, you are someone much like me. You've seen all 8 shows in their entirety. So Nick T gets a lot of grace, even if you hate his list, which I actually like his list. But if you're someone watching and you're looking at Nick T's list and you hate it, you say, where the hell is 5Ds? Where the hell is Excel? Well, he gets grace. No, of course, you get a lot of grace because you can only rank the shows that you've seen. And you can also say, I've only watched the worst part of GX, so I have that in the bottom, which is perfect. It works out great for you. Dak, you don't have that luxury. So listen, this could get ugly, man.
It could. I'm ready.
Number 5. What are you picking at number 5?
Yeah. So I mean, I would say in terms of that side, I feel like I'm a lot like you, in that regard. Is I don't consider any of the shows bad. Even at their low points, they're still enjoyable.
Agreed.
Even at their lowest, they're still, fun. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, Battle Beast is like one of my least favorite things about Arc 5, but at its core, it's still Yu-Gi-Oh, so it's still like fun. Like it's still, what's gonna happen? I mean, it wasn't executed well, but I mean, seeing somebody going around just executing it and killing off main characters left and right, that's a kind of crazy concept to have in a Yu-Gi-Oh show.
Yeah.
But it worked, So, it's like, they have those different things. So all these shows, I mean, I do love, in different ways. With that said, number 5 actually for me is Zexal.
Okay. All right.
That is one that I've, it's one of those that I've kind of come around, a little bit on over the years. I was first introduced to it through the dub, so I mean that gave me a big hurdle to get over right out of the gate. But as soon as I kind of really started getting into the sub, I did start to have a much bigger affinity for it. There are still elements that I'm not a huge fan of, but at its core, I enjoy the story. I enjoy kind of the ramp up as it got through. It's cool kind of seeing some of those elements of it really being kind of that first reboot. You do have Yuma and Astral kind of being your Yugi and your Atem. You have, of course, obviously, Shark kind of being to an extent kind of like your Joey-esque kind of a character. You have a lot of those different components kind of coming in together, and it just made it a fun kind of ride for what it was. But yeah, definitely towards the end, things really started to get just good. You had a lot of great duels, a lot of great moments. Things got crazy, and sometimes in a hilarious way, like 100,000 million attack points and everything, or life points, or all that kind of stuff. And then you just had cool stuff like the World Tour Carnival. That was a fun kind of a way to do things. Being able to do stuff on roller coasters and things like that. Like definitely a lot of fun kind of elements, kind of throughout the show. I think was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it. All right, you got Zexal at 5. Certainly a few slots lower than me, but I respect that. What do you have at number 4?
Number 4 is good old Go Rush.
Okay, same spot as me. Same spot as me.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, I enjoyed Go Rush quite a bit. Even with its ups and downs, like I'm not going to bring up the same the same things we've talked about it to death already.
Don't say Gakugan, dude.
There,
I can't. No,
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly why I didn't say it. No, we've heard that word enough for this stream. But I mean, even those kind of lower points, I think were still fun. But I mean, with Go Rush as a whole, my big problem really just kind of came down to the pacing, of it. I mean, obviously these short arcs make it tricky to do stuff, and then of course there's just moments where they could be doing so much more impactful story elements, and then we get an episode like that, like didn't really need that. Like there are so many more things that they could do and fill in those gaps and make things a lot cooler. So I mean, I still kind of take a lot of that extra potential that they could have had, and and still kind of enjoy kind of where it was at. But I mean, we got so many cool characters and so many cool moments. Getting to see kind of Yuhi turn into into kind of Chatty for that nice streak that he had, and then obviously turn into like Otis. I mean, that was he had a fun kind of a story throughout. Obviously, we had a good old friend at Yugioh there, and kind of his whole arc. Like, there's so many great characters, great moments. Even if I find the core 4 from 7's a little bit better, kind of than the main cast of Go Rush, I still just enjoyed kind of those story elements and a lot of those kind of themes a little bit more so throughout that.
Yeah, okay, I love it. Number 3, my friend.
So number 3 is going to be the one I think is going to cause a lot of trouble here. But I did put GX at number 3.
I thought you were going to say Arc 5. That GX at 3 I can live with.
Yeah.
Arc 5 is lucky to even be on my top 8 list.
All right, GX at 3. I mean, that's high. You've watched all 8 shows. I love that, man. That's high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, GX is going to be a 3 for me. A lot of it does. I mean, I will say some of it does boil down to, of course, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of just kind of just that being kind of that peak element. For me, just kind of growing up. Kind of being around that time. Having those kind of characters to kind of really over the seasons grow along with. But I mean, a lot of the slice of life and those elements are definitely out there. They're a little crazy, but they were fun kind of one-off things that fit that slice of life kind of situation, kind of narrative. You're at a school, you're going to run into, weird oddballs here or there. You're going to have fun little things. Like I say, my biggest gripe of the one-off kind of side of things is that they just, even if you just put them in the background of different shots or
Sure.
things like that here or there, or made little references every now and then, it would have been fine.
The
'cause
Rush
some of the-
shows
some
did
of the
very
stuff-
well with that. The Rush shows did very well with
Exactly. And that's kind of where I look at, like, with these Rush shows and kind of the reboot, with Rush, is I feel like they did take a lot of those elements and they kind of learn from them. They definitely pulled from that history more than just, oh, this is a fun little reference. They were able to sit there and look and say, okay, they did Slice of Life. They did a direct sequel. I mean, it is the first direct sequel we had, GX being that direct sequel to DM. So we had that kind of element, and then of course Rush was able to, I think, take it and kind of expand and improve it, in a fun way. But I mean, even a lot of just some of the arcs, are fun. Like, it was cool. Like, I know not everybody loves the Shadow Riders and kind of that arc, but I mean, it was cool seeing a lot of like dual spirits kind of being more or less, kind of your antagonist. I mean, Camula is a card, the Gonzalug and all them are cards, things like that, in the game. So you get to kind of see that nice element, and I think that's a lot of fun. Obviously, while it is the Jaden show, I mean, it's cool to see, your pro tag get a lot of those wins. I do wish they did more with the side characters, but I mean, for someone who loves, that kind of a part of those kind of heroes and all that, it just makes it an enjoyable time, to be able to kind of sit there and see those elements. I mean, I love Cyber Dragons. I love Zane. I can't.
Yeah.
It's hard to do anything with that. But I mean, even kind of seeing like other stories with him, like they could have done a little bit more with him. But even seeing him like go from he was the top of the class, peak, best of the best, and then I mean, he kind of got that lesson like right out of high school, he stalled, and kind of seeing him have to like try to overcome that, and not everything works out the way you want it to be in life, and seeing like a lot of those different elements, I think, just kind of come together in a nice way. For me, at least on a personal level.
Yeah, no, I love that. All right, well, listen,
Makes sense.
your top two, I mean, I know Arc 5's not in the top two, but I'm 7s, DM, 5Ds, Vrains, two of them are towards your bottom, two of them are at the top. I have a feeling I know what they're going to be, but let's hear it, man. What is your number
right.
2, the second best Yu-Gi-Oh show?
Number 2 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. No, number 2 is Duel Monsters.
All right, okay.
Duel Monsters.
Okay.
The OG.
The OG.
I mean, I feel like
You and me,
for
buddy.
the majority of people, it's going to be hard to put that out of your top 3. To be honest, I feel like just for the majority, like I said, not everybody, but I know the majority. I feel like that's going to be the case. It is, of course, it's the show that started it all. You obviously have a great group of characters. You have a lot of just amazing villains. Sure, filler's not as great as it could be in some different regards, but even then, it's still typically fun. There's not really like a duel, in that show that I'm like, I have to skip this particular episode or this particular one just because I hate it to the point I don't even want to watch. Even watching like something like Taya versus Crump that I know you have what makes a duel special to work on can still be enjoyable at its core. Kind of a if you're just sitting back and just watching and having some good Yu-Gi-Oh. In your life there. But I mean, obviously, a lot of just fun growth with characters. Obviously, the introduction of the God cards and all that. It's a lot of just a lot of cool concepts coming together. The ties to like history, ancient Egypt are just all very cool, very deep with lore, and it's just, it's just a fun ride. To put as simply as I can. It's just from start to finish. It's a nice fun ride, and obviously now you got movies to enjoy after that.
No, well, yeah, not Pyramid of Light, but yes, Dark Side of Dimensions. I'm not gonna let you sneak in a potential Pyramid of Light plug.
Wow, he already forgot about Bonds Beyond Time. Wow,
Is that a movie?
He won't even mention it.
Is that a movie?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Selective.
Is that a movie or an OVA? All right, Dak.
I mean, they count it as a movie.
I know.
I don't, but they do.
I listen. I know what your top one is. The only one, because we've talked about it before. Your number one, in your opinion, the best show in all of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is definitely my top. I mean, and with it, it's just one where I find the story has the most kind of consistent kind of highs. Really at the end of the day, you have that nice kind of of course, obviously Dark Signers arc. You obviously have Crash Town. You got to have just these great elements. Obviously, even towards the end, just kind of continued to get just peak on top of peak. I feel like with a lot of those elements. So it's just very cool. You had a nice new kind of a setting. I mean, it was a jarring change from like DM or even GX kind of you just had this crazy like dystopian kind of future and this whole like class kind of thing that they did kind of shy away from a little bit here or there as time went on, but that was kind of as they shifted the story, it really just kind of worked. They kind of just showed that some of those elements weren't as impactful, but you still had all these fun characters and kind of you got to see pretty much everybody grow in at least some way, shape, or form. You got to see a lot of fun like friendships to rivalries and rivalries to friendships, and just a lot of cool tournaments and things. It it all just kind of came together very well for me. To be kind of the best show. And I mean, I love you say he's not. I will say he's not my favorite protagonist. I'm not gonna say where I'd place him because that is probably a list for another another time. But I mean, even kind of with that cast, I mean the signers themselves were very cool. Just kind of a fun, neat concept. At its core. So it's just a very fun ride.
Yeah.
No pun intended, since it's on motorcycles.
Nick T, no pun intended. Nick T, I've known you for 20 years. I've known you for a very long time. I feel very confident saying if you watched 5Ds, it would be in your top 2, if not number 1. I don't want to say it would be number 1, but
no, I think from everything I know about it, because I think I have seen a handful of episodes, and I already was falling in love with it. I think it would be number 1.
Yeah,
I truly believe that.
Yeah, it's an incredible show. Zexel, I feel similarly about. To be fair, I think both of them are incredible shows.
And I will get to them eventually.
Yeah, of course.
Now, with 5Ds, have you seen the most important scene about Yusei in the bar?
I don't think so. I think I only got as far as the prison break.
Are you trying to plug my Yusei's milk video?
Well, I mean, I was just talking about Yusei's milk in general because it's a fantastic moment.
It is. Yeah, he asked for milk, and a lot of people thought that was a dub censorship, but no, it is not.
No, it's amazing. That's how I have the Yusei figure. I think Carrie got it for me, and that's how I have him displayed holding the cup of milk.
Yeah, well, I
What's
did
the city?
Neo Domino City.
New Domino
Yeah.
City straight edge. New Domino City straight edge. That's what that's what Yusei's repping.
I did the Yusei Fudo challenge where I only drank milk for a month, and that was something. That was something a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds fans did. That was popular back in like 2011. I think that was like established, but that was a challenge that people in the Yu-Gi-Oh community did. You could only drink milk for a month.
That's hard. That's bad for you. You should not be doing that.
Dak, I'm telling you right now, you do not have the luxury, and this is a surprise. Dak did not know we were going to do this. We don't have any cool graphics here, but you do not have the luxury of only being able to reveal your top 5. I am putting you on the spot.
Oh.
You don't have to go 8, 7, 6. You can go in order, like Nick T. Shook. You right now are going to reveal, my friend, 6, 7, and 8. I'm putting you on the spot here on the Talking Yu-Gi-Oh show. So you have 5Ds, DM, GX, Go Rush, Zexel. The 3 remaining are 7s, Vrains, Arc 5. I feel good about what's 8. I'm interested in your 6 and 7. Number 6, Dak, what just missed out on the top 5 for you?
Number 6, I put Brains.
Okay.
Okay, solid.
So Brains, and I mean, with these, especially with kind of 6 and 7, they're very, very easily, depending on the day, depending on the mood, can switch.
My 3
but
and
number
5
6
are like
for me
that.
right now is Brains. I mean, with a lot of these, I feel like that's the case where I could swap them around pretty easily and still be perfectly happy and content. But with those 2 particular, yeah, definitely, they're very interchangeable. Brains is at its core, it's I mean, it's still Yu-Gi-Oh, so I still enjoy it. Obviously, the show had its issues and its hiccups, and I don't fault it, for some of the things that are beyond the show itself's control. Obviously, the team had elements that they needed to work on or whatever, but I don't fault Brains as an entity for that, if that makes sense. Like, it's not the show's fault that so certain things happen that it got cut short. It's not like the show was bad enough that it got cut. It's outside influences, I feel like, kind of affected some of those different elements, at least on a personal level and kind of personal note. So with that being said, my biggest things with Brains and kind of why it's a little bit lower is just, number one, it didn't really have a lot of that really kind of that life element. Everything was just primarily you're in the Brains, everything's high stakes, everything's high action, like, and all the time, which kind of for me dampened that side of things, because if everything's at stake, then it feels like nothing is there weren't really too many moments where it was like, oh, you can lose, you're not gonna die, they okay, he took over the brains, he took over the internet, like, all right, well, I'm in the real world, I'll just shut that off, like, there are different like kind of with that being in the virtual kind of world, felt like it kind of had a little less of an impact on some of those elements. I mean, I like the idea for the brains as a whole, but I do wish there was kind of more of that mix of kind of in and out elements happening. I think that just would have made it a little more exciting. And of course, just being able to have a moment where maybe Yusaku loses, but he doesn't immediately lose eye or like immediately die or whatever. It'd be okay, let him learn, let him grow.
Sure.
But I mean, a lot of those elements, were cool at its core. Definitely.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming you have Arc 5 in 8th, and that would mean you have 7s in 7th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that's how your list rounds off.
That is correct. I do have 7s in 7 and Arc 5 in 8th. 7s, of course, is obviously fun, but and I mean the same kind of idea. I don't blame them for having to cut 10 episodes because of COVID. I mean, that's really kind of beyond their control, but I mean, really it boils down to exactly the no villains, the short arcs, some of those different elements really just kind of dampened, the show a little bit there for me. Like it's still fun. I can still easily watch it, enjoy, the crew kind of hanging out, just having these good times. But at the same time, it's like, well, if everybody's your friend, then you kind of don't really, have too much to kind of go with and kind of grow from. Like, sure, you can lose and everything, or you can have like a fight with a friend, but I feel like there's more that you can do to help somebody kind of grow and have like a nice kind of a exciting period transitioning over time with it.
Yeah.
And then with Arc 5, I mean it was enjoyable for the first portion, and then it just kind of turned
very
into a hot
enjoyable.
mess. We kind of talked about talked about that one to death here or there over the years, but I mean that's kind of really it at its core. There were so many different elements that I thought could have been done better and fleshed out a little bit more. And then obviously you have like this ending with Zark, and you're like, okay, cool, you beat the villain. What's gonna happen now? And then you have 10 episodes trying to make a freaking baby laugh. Like, come on, that's just crazy to me.
I totally agree, man. Yeah. No, great full list, dude. Listen, so looking at our 3 lists, we all feel very similarly about Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. The show we feel very differently about is Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. Dak and I feel similarly. Nick T, you having it at the top? I love it, man. It's certainly very unique.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think for me, a big thing is like actually to exactly like, not that it's a debate, but I feel like one of the major themes of the show being like sort of a limitless like challenge of friendship is sort of the exact theme that you're talking about. Like anyone could be your friend. Like strangers are just friends you haven't made yet. And as corny as that sounds, I think Yuga proves that's like, you can overcome a lot of obstacles to bridge gaps between individuals. So I think I feel like that is a major theme of the show, but I definitely see that weakening the argument for a villain. So I get that.
Yeah, I think the thing with it is mostly just the timing of the show. Like think about like Nail, for example. Like he's an enemy, and then like 2 episodes later he's like their friend. That's kind of more what I mean when I say that element. I do love that they're able to show those kind of things. Exactly, but it does come down to
it's
kind of that.
It's a quick turnaround.
If it was a little bit longer, a little bit spaced out more, I think it would work and fit a little bit better for me. But yeah, sure. definitely, seeing that with him or with Roa, I think we're just kind of definitely nice elements. I mean, I love both of them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think we're in agreement there.
Yeah, we had a very, very fun discussion and a very very good time. So and I'm excited to see, because again, I don't really never have chat open during these, but I'm sure people are probably sharing theirs and have been sharing theirs. So I'm excited to go back and read people's lists. Nick T, was there something you wanted to say real quick before we do some donations, and then Pulse of the Community coming up next? Nick T?
There is something I want to say. It's things must be bad, right? Because in terms of us, sort of dealing with what we've got, because and Chad could probably verify this. I feel like you've been on record multiple times saying you'll reveal most of your order, but you will most likely never reveal your number one show. And here we are. It's happened. It almost forced your hand to happen.
Does that say to you desperation? Is that what that's saying?
Not outwardly, but for those
Nick
who
T.
know, you know.
Nick T. We every once a month on Wednesday nights, we get together to do a 90-minute podcast on a 4-minute episode. Nick T.
I know, I get it.
I listen, I'm so grateful for the people that come by and watch and hang out, especially to the people that, of course, donate and go that extra mile when it's never needed. Nick T, we have been in dire times. I mean, I'll never forget when Pete left my house when the first Sky Striker episode came out and it was 3.5 minutes and he was like, we can't do a podcast on this. And I looked him dead in the eyes and I said, I have no choice.
You have no choice.
I don't have the luxury of being able to decide, you know what? We've got so much content to cover and we're so bloated. I can skip this one. I don't have that choice, man.
I'm sorry, man. I know. I'm sorry.
I don't have that luxury. I'll just, I'll take the Wednesdays off. It's awful. It's awful. I mean, listen.
So it's worth selling your beliefs. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, there's nothing that deep about it. I think it was probably so for scrutiny. It's like revealing the number one as a creator. It like immediately makes you susceptible to people being like, oh, well, he's biased. So I get it. But,
right.
I think it was an appropriate time for it to be released. I just thought it was a funny thing to bring up.
Yeah, no, it's very funny and it's very sad at the same time. But yes, not you bringing it up, but the circumstances that we're in. And, we, yeah. All right. Do we have any super chats before we get into the polls?
Did you have any? Oh yeah, we have a couple. Yeah,
we got a couple.
Perfect.
You want me to?
Yeah, Nick T.
Yeah, if you want to do them.
Yeah. We have $2 from Tyler DeBoer.
The Mitsuko man. Thank you, Tyler.
And the Mitsuko man is who he is because this question, this comment says, fight Mitsuko-sized Dinois or Dinois-sized Mitsuko.
I would fight a Mitsuko-sized Dinois.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Mitsuko, I feel like it just packs more of a punch. So even being tiny, I feel it would still be tough.
See,
and then if I lose, because there's a good chance I would lose to either of them. If I lose, I can be like, well, I mean, she was 10 feet tall. I was at a huge disadvantage.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is, yeah, you do have but you're at a double disadvantage with large Dinois because Dinois, yeah, caliber is took the words out of my mouth. Dinois is crazy, so her at a Mitsuko size.
True.
I'm not planning to win.
Mitsuko size is crazy.
I'm not planning to win this fight either way. What makes me look better,
No.
losing to a smaller Mitsuko or losing to a very large Dinois? I think you lose to a large Dinois, and people would be like, I got to cut him some slack. She was ginormous. That's my rationale. I don't plan to win. I know my own strength. You know. Come on, Dak.
I mean, you could have taken the gentleman route and said, "I'm not going to fight a lady."
Wow.
I mean,
it was actually a trick question. It was actually a trick question.
Exactly, it was a trick question. No,
Yeah, Dak got you.
I mean, got him. Cancel him. No,
Canceled.
Thank you.
no. I mean, it's. I definitely get your point, and I do see it. It's definitely a tough decision either way because Dinois crazy. I'd rather fight Dinois because I like Mitsuko more, but
Yeah.
Dinois is crazy, and I am concerned that I would lose my life in that.
Yeah,
that fight,
exactly. Yeah.
No matter the size. And with Mitsuko, I feel like there's a higher chance that if I impress enough, she can fall in love with me. That's all I'm saying. Like then there's no fight.
See, he's got it.
Okay.
He's got
All
it.
right. Gentleman Dak. All right, Nick T. What are you picking?
Oh, I mean, I'm for all the I'm locked in with Dak there. Yeah, a Dinois-sized Mitsuko for all the reasons he listed. I mean,
Including
I
wanting
can't
to
let
date
myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I think the question goes out to Tyler. Would you still like Mitsuko if she was Denwa sized.
Great
Ooh,
question.
Wow.
Well, we'll wait for Tyler to get back to us on that. Do we have any other? We have a couple more, right? I have 2 on my end. I think you have 2 more on your end. We'll
Yeah.
get through them here. Yep.
We got 2 more. Yep. I mean, the next one is. I'll do it. Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. No, you got it.
The next one is $2 Australian dollars from Electric Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
And what is
Appreciate it.
what is your ideal kind of girl lead for a Yu-Gi-Oh anime?
It's a great question. Man, I think I've just wanted a girl lead for the longest time. That I maybe haven't stopped to think too much about personality type, because I think I'd be so overjoyed with just that announcement in of itself, and then whatever comes next is almost like more minor. I like the thought of a family dynamic being there, and that's not exclusive to a girl protagonist. I've talked about how we haven't really had much of a family dynamic with a lot of our Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists. Some of them obviously having fathers like Yuma and Yuya, but a lot of them not really having parents at all around or siblings. And so I think that sort of dynamic would be really, really cool for anyone, but thinking of like being an older sister or a younger sister to maybe like a dueling prodigy, I think that could be a really cool dynamic if they like weren't even considered the best duelist in their family. And that was something they had to kind of deal with as they were growing up in the world of, duel monsters. But I think personality type, someone that was calm, calculated. I think Akiza, I think an Ishizu, I think a personality type like that would be really, really cool. I wouldn't want like a hothead, if that makes sense. I'd want someone who's a little more like cooler and calm.
I completely agree.
Yep.
I think my ideal female protagonist is one that would be in most regards very much like Yuamu, but probably just better utilized. With actually, as you said, like that family element, like being like a younger sibling of like a dueling prodigy, almost like, and a much better version of like Sho, who sucks, by the way, whose brother rules.
F that guy.
So a character like that who is like not a great duelist yet, but is navigating that territory, but is witty and has great like deductive reasoning, investigate, like is a very smart character and is just navigating dueling in like in that regard. So I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely be cool. And I mean, there's so many different styles and all that you could easily do. But I do think in terms of the hothead side, while I definitely would want him to be that kind of personality, I would still want to see that kind of amount, here or there, just for that little like potential for growth. There's that like trigger word, the like. Not like Marty McFly,
Like
kind of
sleeper
levels,
agent.
but like we're like, oh, you're a chicken, but yeah, not to that can not to that extent, but just kind of there'd be that certain like thing that would happen or whatever that could set them off and kind of release that hothead a little bit, which would cause potential mistakes or potential areas to like, oh, I can grow from here, I can learn about this, I can improve, and kind of over the course of the show you'd see them get that under control a little bit more, and then be kind of that's when they'd surpass the brother or the older sister or whoever, because they'd have that under their belt. Like I mean, siblings always know how to push each other's buttons.
Yeah, of
Be
course.
kind of that thing where you overcome that.
Yeah,
That's a really good point.
very, very good point. And yeah, Kevin, great question. Thank you so much for the super chat. Dark Emperor J, thank you for the $2 donation. Oh yeah, forgot to mention this in the bet. If you beat the other DLC bosses, regardless of killing the orphan, I'll give you a $50 gift card for any fast food place of your choice. I may have gotten obsessed with Ludwig and Maria's fight, LOL. I'm actually gonna not accept that one. I will still kill all the DLC bosses, but I don't want to like, I don't like to make like insane bets because I feel bad. If you really want to, you can, but you don't need that one. You don't need, well, really all of them you don't need to be held to, but I do plan to kill all of them. Dark Emperor J, for sure. You're good on that. Natalie, thank you for the $4 donation. I think we got one from that man, and then we're going to go to the Pulse. Thank you so much, Natalie. Am I a fake fan of Yu-Gi-Oh? I have loved this show since I was a kid, but due to a stressful state of Yu-Gi-Oh, I've been becoming disillusioned with the state of Yu-Gi-Oh due to the lack of an anime. I have been enjoying other animes so far. Absolutely not. No. And if you ever feel like you're a fake fan, or if anybody calls you a fake fan, they're genuinely stupid. And that is a ridiculous thing. There is nothing wrong. Even if a Yu-Gi-Oh is going on right now, there is no sort of exclusivity that anybody should have to Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Watch what you want to watch and watch whatever you want to watch. And like, if you never watch another Yu-Gi-Oh anime, even if they make a Yu-Gi-Oh 9 or 10, it doesn't mean that you're like a fake fan. I hate when people call Yu-Gi-Oh fans fake because they haven't watched all 8 shows or they stopped after GX or 5Ds. Like, if you're respectful and not like a dick to the other like spin-offs, even if you've only watched the original, I still consider you a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh. Even if you've only watched DM, as long as you're not like, oh, all the other shows after it were terrible. That also doesn't make you a fake fan. That just makes you a little bit of an a-hole. But like, no, even if you're just a fan of one of the 8 shows, it doesn't. And you have, listen, I think a lot of people on the anime side are starting to become very disillusioned with how things have been going. So I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Nick.
100% agree.
And,
I mean,
and to sort of add to that, it's like, yeah, I mean, of course you're watching other anime because what else are you short of
Yeah.
like rewatching all the
Yeah.
pre-existing shows? What else are you supposed to do? There's no current Yu-Gi-Oh.
There's
like,
no point to just sit here and twiddle your thumbs and wait for another Yu-Gi-Oh show that honestly, who the heck knows if it's even going to happen? And I hate even saying that and putting that. No, I mean, but really, we don't nobody knows. And again, I hate even saying that and like putting that into the ether, but nobody knows. So you got to do whatever makes you happy. And then listen, do what makes you happy, and then hopefully they announce a new show this year's Jump Festa, and then boom, April, you can add Yu-Gi-Oh to that anime itinerary. That's the hope. Natalie also went on.
And
Oh yes, Dak.
I was just saying, I mean, the big thing to remember is a fake fan is, someone who pretends to like something, more or less at its core. It's
Right,
someone who
yeah.
is, potentially into like, oh, this is the latest trend. Oh, I love it, even though I haven't watched it, or I've watched it because so and so said to, and I didn't pay attention. Things like that. Are typically more so, someone trying to maybe gain a little benefit or kind of just get the attention of something, more than anything. You don't. You've seen the shows, and we know how much you've seen the shows. I would say, given that past love and character donations and all that, I mean, I would say you're probably one of the furthest things from a fake fan, for definitely for something like Yu-Gi-Oh.
If any, by the way, I would argue anybody watching this show right now, Nick T, is that what you were going to say? Anybody watching this show right now they are like a gold platinum fan of Yu-Gi-Oh anime. There is no, really, there's no reason to be. And we greatly appreciate it, and obviously we love doing it, but like the people that are still here coming in every Wednesday night when we have not had weekly Yu-Gi-Oh now in over 4 months, you really are, you have a gold platinum card. So no, the whole fake fan is ridiculous.
No,
You're
yeah.
fine, Natalie.
That's not what I was gonna say, but I agree with that point. What I was gonna say is, by Dak's definition, we've had at least 2 people that fit that definition on our show for some point of time.
That's
Wouldn't you
crazy.
agree?
2 people that we never mind. Yeah, no,
We'll probably will never see again.
yeah.
God willing.
If we never do, we'll say the Lord is.
The Lord is good.
Natalie, thank you for another donation. Also, Dylan, do you want to reveal the plot twist that happened in last night's stream? I also would like to reveal I have a crush on Emma Besso. She is awesome. She and I could get along and have nice chats about computer stuff. Yeah, I mean, she's a bounty hunter. And so as long as you make... Emma strikes me as someone who would probably be friends or at least date somebody who makes money. And so that's probably the prerequisite to being in her life. But if you can do that, Natalie, all power to you. And Emma, I'm sure would.
Just call Emma a gold digger.
What happened?
Did you just call Emma a gold digger?
Yeah. Well, I think she's attracted to money. Is that a crazy statement to make? I think that was pretty obvious. She
I just make sure I heard.
No,
correctly.
I would defend that statement. I mean, I think she definitely is. I mean, she would take. We're talking about Ghost Girl, Emma Besso. Right. I
She's
mean,
a career-driven woman. She's a career-driven woman.
Right, but she's driven by money. She's not driven by like growth in a career. She's driven by money.
Well,
So
that's part of her job.
Of course, but I would imagine that in a relationship, she would want somebody who also, that's the kind of person she strikes me as. And that's why she was so infatuated with Akira. One of the reasons. I mean, I believe her and Akira got together, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
The tension
I think
in that.
so
What do
too,
you have to
but-
say to the what do you have to say to the Emma and Brave Max shippers?
I
You think he's got money?
you know what? No,
I say get real.
you know what? Money has nothing to do with that one is a disaster. I mean, really, let's not start with that. Come on.
Thank
Man,
you
actually, you know what? I don't
for
even
the
know if that is the right
dono.
term, because isn't that somebody who she works? I mean, I that term is someone who doesn't work, right? Or am I wrong?
Well, it's someone who just like is with someone for their money. It doesn't
Primarily, yeah, for that reason.
Okay, yeah. So it fits.
Yeah, so they can work themselves.
Right.
Like it doesn't. Yeah, it still works.
Yeah, because Emma works. I mean, she's a hardworking woman. Natalie also tacked on another $2 to say, "I will forfeit all mortal possessions to Emma. She is hot. This woman is hot." There's a lot of hot men and women in the world. I would definitely be careful about, what did you say? Forfeiting all mortal possessions to them. So definitely,
Hey.
you want to make sure they have a good soul.
No, you know what? Natalie knows what she's about, and I respect if she's willing to give up all her mortal possessions for someone like Emma. More power to you. That's
You can always
exactly
get
what she
more
would
mortal
want.
possessions.
Oh, man, Natalie, thank you so much. I think we got one more from that man, right, via super chat.
Yep.
Okay,
We've got
and then we're doing the polls.
classic. Classic. One from that man. A $666 donation.
Devil Dono, thank you, that man.
Yep, good old Devil Donut. Looks like it was ranking. It shows he said one or two are interchangeable with Zexel and 5Ds.
Okay,
And third would be Sevens.
Wow.
Fourth would be DM.
okay,
5 would be Go Rush.
okay.
And then he said, so that's the top 5. Then it says, I just think Sevens is underrated. Go Rush just wants to do more for its plot.
So he excluded Vrain's, which I would imagine he has Vrain's 8th, 7th, probably at best. And I imagine he probably has GX at 6th, and then Vrain's and Arc 5 are probably 7, 8.
Yeah,
But I mean, my list is actually very similar
That's a
to
solid
him.
list.
I mean, he said 5Ds and Zexel are interchangeable, so you could argue we have the same top two. And then I have DM at 3. The only and I have DM at 3 and Go Rush at 4.
Sevens.
He has 7s much higher than me. That's the only difference.
That's my guy right there.
But if he has Vrain 6th, we have the same top 6. But I don't think he has Vrain 6th. I think his Vrain's a little lower. But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very similar list as to mine. Very similar list. Even with like GX and Arc 5 being 2 of the 3 bottoms. The only difference is I like Vrain's a little more than he does. And he likes 7s a little more than
Sevens,
I
right.
does. Yeah, than I does, than I do.
Yeah.
So very similar list. That man loved the list. And thank you for sharing. Appreciate you, man. All right. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the pulse of the community.
It's time for the pulse of the community. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Cal queuing us in. Pulse of the community on the stove. I believe,
still
Dak,
recording,
you are kicking us off, correct?
Yep, I am. If I remember correctly, this first one here was from the get my note here from where I found it, but I believe
Doctor, he has
it was
no
from
pulse.
the top 100, if I remember correctly. Right at the beginning, I found this one. So it says,
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you read it, this segment. Oh, and for those that don't know, the Pulse of the Community, it's comments from my recent videos or shorts where people write things that are usually pretty mean-hearted towards me or towards whatever. The comments that always kick off this segment always have to do with something regarding my body. Dak, did you break the
Often,
trend?
yeah.
no.
Okay, all right, just read
The
it.
trend is not broken. So it says, no offense, bro, but ditch the haircut. You can do better.
It's not a haircut. My hair is receding. What else could I say? Nick
Well,
T, how can
the
I
only thing-
explain this?
I don't know if any better way to explain it. I mean, I think you look great.
Well, thank
how I'm
you.
gonna
I
explain it.
appreciate that. Dak,
Yeah.
you wanted to comfort me?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say. I mean, with it, I did go back and check kind of at that point, and I do think it was kind of when you were in that longer hair arc, because you were pushing off the haircut for the wedding. So I do think that
Okay.
may have been part of it.
Okay, that's
You know,
fair.
that-
All right.
That's
so
fair.
I mean, in that instance, I can see where maybe getting a haircut would help. I mean, I thought you looked fantastic over at the wedding. You looked
Oh
very,
yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, honestly,
But,
your hair really did look great.
like,
for the
Thank
wedding,
you guys.
I
I
will say.
needed to hear that. No, I really
now
did.
the other day when you're like, look, I got crazy hair. That I
Okay.
can see where that would lead to a comment.
Nick T, what is the comment that you found? Each of these boys are reading 3 comments.
Yes, before I read it though, I actually have to point out here, Legendary Duel's comment kind of doubles down on the previous one, saying, "Hey, you got married," so
It's true.
like it's sort of backhanded. Like
I'm
it's
pulling up
really
chat
funny.
right now, which I never do to get distracted. Why do I see Brian Weir in chat?
Well, that's actually what I was getting ready to mention because I didn't. know you were
Yeah, and then he
pulled
said,
up.
"Hats are friends, not food." Like that's crazy.
All right,
This is
I'm
all
getting
crazy.
rid of chat. All right. All right, Nick T, what's the next
All right.
what's the next comment?
Then the next one here. This is from your ranking shows video, and this says terrible list. GX at 7, Zexel over DM. Seriously, this video is a crime against Yu-Gi-Oh fans, and we shouldn't allow this. Please report and dislike it, everyone. Wow,
Oh, this guy's protesting. He's protesting.
he's protesting.
He's trying to
not even just
Down.
he's trying to gather up
not
his
even just
troops.
protesting.
Destroyed.
Not even just protesting. He's trying to dismantle you. He wants this video reported.
Well, listen, I can smell a Yugi Boomer from a mile away at this point. The 2 things he has issues with is GX being too low and Zexel being over DM. That is classic. I only watched the first 2 shows potentially.
Yep.
Didn't watch anything after that, and those should be 1 and 2, and the fact that they're not is absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't take those people too seriously. Zexel over DM, I want to point out to people that maybe don't remember, I have Zexel at 2, I have DM at 3. It's not like I have Zexel at 2. Right, it's 1 spot. It's not like I have Zexel at 2 and DM at 5. It's 1 spot, and that was a crime against Yu-Gi-Oh fans. So, it's I figured there'd be plenty of comments like this. I know you guys told me not all the 6 comments we're doing are from this video, and I'm sure we'll be pulling from this video for a while, but I'm sure there will be more comments like this. So, yeah, Nick T, thanks for kicking us off. I love the Yugi booming comments. All right, Dak, what is the next comment? You had said to me that the second one you're reading is the strangest comment you have ever seen on one of my videos.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little
and,
bit?
And I stand by it. I think this person got lost. Maybe
Oh,
they had
yes,
the
that's
autoplay
the
going.
Wait, what video
or
is this?
something. And this was from the ranking shows video. So
Okay.
this is from our wonderful bot here. But
Okay.
if anyone in chat knows anything about what I'm talking about, please point me in the right direction. Because after looking this up, the only thing I can think of is it was some online show here, like a Microsoft Paint thing that I was seeing. But it says, feel silly to correct MBT on this, but while he wasn't named until Act 5, we did see Carcat and his Lissa sprite not only in Act 4, but also at the tail end of the Midnight Crew intermission, which was set in between Act 3 and Act 4. Similarly, I do think we saw Jade in Act 2, and we see her communicate in Act 1 before learning about her in Act 3.
You were not joking at all. That is the strangest comment I've ever seen on one of my videos. I think well, first of all, I'm not MBT. For those that don't know, even though I'm sure almost everybody watching knows, MBT is a very, very big Yu-Gi-Oh content creator. But it'd be different if he's not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. Does MBT do other stuff besides Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's Homestuck, right?
Wait, what is it?
Well, that's what I
Homestuck?
said.
Homestuck.
Yeah,
It's like I don't consume any of it, but it's like an online web show
like a Microsoft
essentially.
Adventure.
It's like a fiction
That's all.
series, yeah.
Okay. But
It has a pretty big fan base. But it's like not Yu-Gi-Oh at all.
he commented this on my video about ranking all the shows, and I'm also not MBT.
Not that
I
attitude.
I don't think
No,
we,
that
we look similar. We actually, I think, live pretty close because I think he lives in Maryland, so I think he lives right next to me. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is a weird one. This is it's not mean. It's not like mean spirited. It's someone who is very confused.
Yeah, I thought I'd go for baffling for one of these. I mean, I saw it and I went back up, scrolled back up to the top to double check and make sure I was still on the on the video on the channel, just to make sure, because it was just in the middle.
Dude, no, he commented on the wrong video. Listen, let that be a lesson to everybody watching why autoplay is dangerous, and you got to make sure you're on the right video. That is too funny. All right, Nick T, your next comment. What video is this from?
Let me pull this up. We're number 4, right?
Yes.
This is also ranking shows. And I'm really there's a trend here. Obviously, you're gonna get some dissent on your opinions, but
Of course, yeah.
well, this person feels like, quote, worst ranking I have ever seen. Yu-Gi-Oh should be ranked mainly on duels. Arc 5 duels were the best of all Yu-Gi-Oh.
So
Dayules.
No. No.
it is actually kind of funny, and this might shock some people. I don't fully disagree with part of this comment. I actually really liked the dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. I don't know if I would say Arc 5 had the best duel quality. I don't know if I'd go that far, but the duels in Arc 5 I thought were better than the overall story. And listen, I will say this. There's people that watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And only care about the duels and the cards. I've met them. I've talked to them. There's people that do not think the storylines mean anything, and we should...
That's insane.
I completely agree. I do think that's crazy. I don't get how you can sit there and watch a 148 episode anime and say, oh, the story does not matter at all to me. And when the characters are talking between the duels, you fast forward it and you just watch the duels. But there are people, now it's a small minority, that consume Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that way, don't care at all about the stories and the characters, and only care about the duels. I think that's crazy, but this is someone's criteria for ranking shows. It's in a totally different universe than how myself and how I think most people rank shows, which is based on the characters, the stories. Sure, the duels play a part, of course, it's Yu-Gi-Oh!, but storyline and characters are so much more important for me. So this person is just like ranking these shows based on a totally different world. And a totally different set of criteria than me.
Yeah, it's actually difficult for me to fathom because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is no different than any other piece of fiction in that the duels are just, I'm not just, but like, yes, they're enjoyable, but they're the vehicle for the plot. Just like in a boxing movie, the boxing is the vehicle for the plot. I don't go in and watch Rocky and be like, yeah, they yapped too much. Movie sucked. No, you know, like it's a boxing movie, yes, but it's because there's a story.
Great comparison, dude. Great analogy.
Like,
yeah,
it's just for literally anything. Dragon Ball, even if we're sticking with anime,
That's what I was gonna say.
it's
Dragon
like
Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z,
Fighting
yeah,
too much.
like it's like there's not enough fighting. Where's the tournaments? It's
Right,
like,
right.
Of course, there's other plot. Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, it's like, well, why aren't they doing, you know, whatever. Other, you know,
I'm skipping these 3 episodes because I just want to watch the fight. I don't care at all about the story and the build up to it. Yeah, no, but there are maybe, you know, again, this is, I think, a very small minority, but to say that they should be ranked mainly on duels, to me, that says I don't care about the story or the characters. And that is crazy. And if that's how you rank shows, more power to you. But I don't have any response to it because you're in a totally different world than me. And most people,
I can't fathom. I can't fathom viewing fiction in any form from that lens. It's crazy to me.
I fully agree. Fully agree. All right. Well, there you go. I think that's the last one from the ranking series because I think the next 2 you said have to do with OTK shorts. So I'm interested to see what you guys. Okay, based on Nick T's reaction, that's not good.
Not good.
Okay. Well, Dak, would you like to start?
I found this one on the DMOTK
Okay.
short. We have censored it, so
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That tells you what you need to know, is that you have to censor a little bit.
Oh, just to be safe.
Oh, this guy's really angry.
Yeah, it says, you really think that was an OTK? Have you actually seen the anime, you fucking dipshit? It's not the first turn. God, it must be hard being a total fucking...
Great use. That was so good.
I mean,
wait, did they hear that?
Yeah, no, they should hear that. I mean, that might be one of the most charged messages we've ever read on this segment. I mean, that is a crazy comment. First of all, to be that angry over a Yu-Gi-Oh! Did You Know trivia short is insane to me. But the other insane part to me is the fact that this guy is so angry at me. This guy is wrong. This guy is wrong. Of course it was an OTK. This guy clearly does not know what an OTK is. This was on the DM OTK? One. The OTK was Joey reducing Mai's points from full to Z. That's what an OTK... Right, Dak, am I wrong on that? An OTK, and we have people in the chat that can confirm it, is when you reduce your opponent's life points from full to 0 in a single turn.
Yeah,
that is by definition, a one-turn kill. Maybe this person feels it has to happen on the first turn, but that is not what an OTK. Correct.
Yes,
that is not at all what an OTK is. And yeah, this guy's really passionate using slurs to get out his frustration at me, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I hope this guy gets the help he needs. I mean. There's got to be other things going on in someone's life to write a message like this. That's what I believe. That is a crazy comment.
To comment on Sly Gangster, who just said, I think you even explained that in the short. He does. He explains the difference, I'm pretty sure, in every single one of those. Where he goes, a one-turn kill is...
Right, I explained what a one-turn kill is.
Simple.
I mean...
It's fairly simple.
Dude, that is absolutely insane. Hold on, I want to
even if he disagreed with your definition, why is he so mad?
Well, that's the part that I just can't believe.
Because
even if he was right, why is he so mad?
He goes to regionals, and if he doesn't get this,
I mean,
he goes home.
This is the short. So Dak and Nick T, you won't be able to hear it. I'm just gonna play the start of it. A one-turn kill in Yu-Gi-Oh! Happens when a duelist wins the duel by depleting all of their opponent's full life points at once. I explained it. A one-turn kill in Yu-Gi-Oh! Occurs when an opponent depletes all of their opponent's full life points at once, in one turn. It's not even at once. It's really in one turn. But yeah, that's an intense comment, man. That's an intense comment. And, geez, that is just crazy. And you said there was a second one about OTKs, Nick T. What is the second one?
Mine is the second one, and let's see. In a similar vein, not as angry, but still pretty angry. So he just says, so this is from the 5Ds OTK,
okay.
And he goes, then not one turn kill. If it was his second turn, are you fucking stupid? Ha 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 ha.
You know, I've got to tell you, man, doing content is hard for a myriad of reasons. One of the most frustrating parts about making content, it's not when people disagree with your opinions. It's not when people talk about their opinions and why they don't agree with your opinions. It's when people come at you and like argue against facts. Like it is not my opinion that what happened in these moments are one-turn kills. That's not my opinion. That is if you want to say, oh, 5Ds number one is crazy for these reasons, that's fine. But a one-turn kill, I mean, that is a fact of life. That is a fact of Yu-Gi-Oh! By definition. That's not my opinion. And you have people that are calling you Evan stupid, calling you slurs, whatever it is. And it's the craziest thing. But I think this person probably has the same issue that the last person had, where they believe a one-turn kill has to happen on the very first turn. And that, by definition, is not what an OTK is.
Yeah, I think that like I think the crux of the issue is that I think this is like a phonics thing.
But
I think they're having
see, I
difficulty.
explain it. I explain it in the short.
No, not-
Every short for the
No,
one-turn kill, I
yeah.
explain what a one-turn kill is to avoid
I know,
this.
but like I think they believe the word one is the same means the same thing as first. Like not even
Right.
like the definition one turn kill has to happen. I think they're just like one first. It's like it's not the same word. It's not.
man.
It doesn't mean the same thing.
No, but
Imagine how much they'd lose it if you do the GX 0-turn kill.
there can't be a 0-turn kill. By definition, the duel has to start on turn 1. 0-turn kill can't be.
Yeah,
a
kill
thing.
yourself. Yeah. like that's that's how it would escalate.
That is how. No, dude, that is how. I don't even
know,
want to
but-
use the word passionate because this isn't passion. This is it's really
This is
stupidity.
crazy.
It's craziness. Yeah, it's crazy anger. But man, when you're on the
Like,
internet,
why?
I don't know. I don't know. Like it's annoying enough that this person by definition is wrong, and so is the last person. But it's more insane to me the anger and aggression that is in these comments. It's crazy. But
Maybe they just don't like you.
well, that could be it. I mean, that really could be it. And it's Pete. But you know what? If they didn't like me, I feel like it's still crazy to come after me when it's just facts. Come after me for having GX at 7th. You know, come after me. And if you want to have that sort of anger, I still think it's, a card game. Like, I think we should all take a deep breath and talk maturely and respectfully. And most people do, to be completely fair. Even when it comes to arguing opinions and such. But when it comes to debating facts, I mean, that's like your opponent attacking directly with a 2,000 point monster and you're on the receiving end of the attack and you argue that it should only be like 1,800 points of damage. And it's like, well, what are we doing here, man? You can't argue facts. So, it's crazy. But that's why we have the Pulse, to laugh and to see people roasting me. Sometimes rightfully so. And I'm sure there's people sometimes that have maybe agreed with some of the comments here in the Pulse. But sometimes I don't think anybody would see a comment like this and be like, oh yeah, this is well deserved. I mean, it's just, maybe you would, but I think it's ridiculous. Oh, do we have any more for the Pulse? We do not, right? That's the Pulse.
No, that was the last
That
one
should
for the
be,
Pulse.
yeah, it should be
That
the
was
Pulse this week.
the Pulse of the community.
And I'm sure we're going to have plenty from the ranking every Yu-Gi-Oh series going forward, for sure.
Yeah, that'll give us plenty.
It'll give us
Plenty of
plenty for a
content.
while. And I know there were like probably 10, I think I heard, that could have been used for this segment. We only used 3. And again, we want to like slow roll it. We want to slow cook it. So, we will definitely do more. We have some donations here to wrap it up. And then we are going to, we're going to wrap it up. Natalie, thank you for the $2 donation. Emma is hot like Dazai is from Bungo Stray Dogs. I simp for characters that I find hot, as I donated as 4 of those characters on Dill's stream. Yeah, she donated as Dazai. She donated as Soulburner. Not Soulburner, I'm sorry. Not Theodore. Oh, my God. Todoroki, the other fire guy. She donated as
yes,
Bakugo. And someone else from a show that I don't actually remember what show it was from. I don't think it's a show I've watched. Natalie also went on to, Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs donated. I got to help out Sushi with mastery over his abilities and make sure he is ready to tackle greater threats. Also have to help him and Akutugawa get along. Also, I have a huge fan in chat. Is it you, Natalie? All I want for Christmas is you. Wow. Nick T,
Wow.
Chris celebrating Christmas early.
A little too early.
Little too early. When do the Halloween decorations go out in your house?
I think we'd like to start soon. Actually, we were just at we were at Cracker Barrel. Yeah, wait, yeah, we are at Cracker Barrel after your wedding, and they are already selling Halloween decorations there.
Yeah, the Home Depot. I went to a Home Depot today, and they had some stuff up, which is crazy.
I'm ready, dude. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. That's a holiday I'm ready to start.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That and
Yeah.
Christmas are like my top 2 by far.
Yeah.
I don't even observe other holidays until those 2. But yeah, for me, Halloween decorations come out September 1st. That's when we do them. And that's just the way it is. Daz, I thank you so much. I believe we have one more donation, Dak.
We do.
Or Nick
Would you
T.
like me to read it?
Of course.
Go for it.
I'll read it. Yeah. I hate to read this one. I feel like this got to be rage bait, but I know Electric Kevin does maintain this opinion often, so I'll read it anyway.
Is it that Yu-Gi-Oh's never coming back?
You dingo.
Kevin,
It's 5 Australian dollars. He's saying it is really unfortunate because we're never getting another Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
It
by
has to be.
extension,
It has
we're
to
never
be a
going
bit.
to get the ideal Yu-Gi-Oh girl lead for Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
It has to be a bit, I think, at this point. I think it has to be a bit. I think it has to be
I
a
will
bit.
say I respect it, whether it is or is not. I respect his commitment to stating it. If it's a bit, I respect the commitment to the bit. But if it's not, you know.
Well, listen, I mean, that is an opinion he's had for a while. And I've said to him, we don't need that sort of voodoo, that negative voodoo, man. Come on. We don't need it, man. We got to believe.
I think he's going for reverse psychology.
As I did an
Gotta
opening
believe.
monologue
Maybe.
talking about, this being the worst Yu-Gi-Oh year ever. Listen, I do believe we'll get something again, but we just have to keep praying. We have to keep hoping, and we have to keep believing. I mean, it's as simple as that. Once you lose belief
Gotta
and
believe.
hope, you lose purpose. And once you lose purpose, it's not good. Man, what a show. Pick Rick, channel member, 40 months. I opened the chat right as Pick Rick became a member because we're about to sign off. Pick Rick, thank you for the 40 months. Can only go up from here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a year can be this underwhelming and disappointment again in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime space. It's just been brutal. Although I say that and I knock on wood because God, who knows? Kevin, Natalie, thank you guys for the donations there. Pick Rick, thank you for becoming a channel member. Huge thank you to everybody watching, and a huge thank you to Nick T and Dak for taking times out of their busy life to help me tonight. Nick T, I'm going to start with you. What is going on in the wonderful world of Nick T, a.k.a. Nick Fights Moms, a.k.a. Nameling NJ, a.k.a. Mom Fight, a.k.a. Boom, Go, Fragile Homes, boom.
Okay, there we go. Hey, so not a whole lot yet, but I have actually started writing again as Nameling, so that's exciting. So we're moves are slowly being made, and I think once I start picking up steam with that, it's going to translate to not other areas. Album release, merch, all that good stuff. Once I get the ball rolling, we're back at it. In the meantime, Nameling has music. Fragile Homes has music. Momfight has music. They are all on all streaming platforms for you to listen to. And if you prefer to buy your music, I know at least Momfight and Nameling have music on iTunes and on Bandcamp. If you want to support me in a financial way, you can buy those songs and have them forever, so that streaming platforms will never take them off or away from you. So you can go do that too.
Love that. Nick T, thank you, and all the links are in the chat and, of course, in the description. Dak, what is going on in the wonderful world of Dak FTW?
Yeah, mostly just streaming, going through Expedition 33 and a Pokemon Nuzlocke, mostly right now. A couple other random games here or there, but typically those are the big two over at twitch.tv/DakFTW. And mostly having some good fun times with that.
Love it. Well, listen, I appreciate both of you boys. I appreciate everybody who came by, everybody who donated and super chatted. I say it many times, but it's true. You guys bring life into this channel, and I'm so thankful for all of you. This concludes the Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, Episode 7. I will be live tomorrow playing some Synchro Festival and Master Duel, so I'll hopefully see some of you guys there. Thank you all so much for your support and for coming by, and as always, I hope you have an amazing day.
An amazing day.
Take care, guys.